Sapan and the Demon of Diwali, written by Andrzej Wawrowski and read by Renu Brindle. When Diwali comes, there may be magic in the air. When Diwali comes, the light may triumph over the darkness. When Diwali comes, real friendship may flourish. Well, that's right, for some people. But when your belly is empty, you don't really care. And Sapan's belly had been empty all day. Hey! Get away from there, you rascal! You grubby little thief! Come again and I'll call the police! You filthy pest! May the gods rise up and smack your bottom hard! Sapan snatched the hot bread from the stallholder's hand and scuttled away through the market like a scolded monkey. He pushed frantically through the crowds of villagers. They seemed too busy to notice him, too busy hanging brightly coloured garlands around each other's necks, too busy laughing, singing and dancing, too busy playing with their children. What did it matter to them if a little beggar boy hadn't eaten all day? Oh, that spicy food. Oh, he breathed in the delicious smells all around him and hesitated. Just one little bite. Oh, but there was no time. He was being chased. All he could do was to run past the tasty temptations and dream. He could feel his belly twisting in anticipation of the fine food he wouldn't be eating that night. Sapan knew the village well, and he knew where the shortcuts were. He darted into an alleyway and scampered through a maze of back streets, not looking back until he finally reached the outskirts of the village. The stallholder had gone. His heart beating wildly, Sapan ambled up to the river's edge. There, near the moored fishing boats, was his favourite hiding place. A tiny crumbling temple, just big enough for one person, or one person and a thieving monkey perhaps. The temple, garlanded with fresh flowers and offerings, had been built many years ago by the old man who was even now sitting inside it, shrouded in clouds of jasmine incense. Sapan knew that the man was meditating, whatever that meant, he thought. But to Sapan it seemed as if the old man was waiting for something or someone. Whatever it was, the old man gave nothing away. He just sat cross-legged, his eyes closed, with a hint of a smile on his wrinkled face. Stupid old man. Sapan had no time for pleasantries. He peered down to see if the old man had any more food he could take. He didn't. Sapan checked his rucksack for the 100th time that night to see if there was anything that would go with his morsel of bread. But as usual, there was nothing. Just a small water carrier and his trusted homemade bow and arrow. Well, he couldn't eat that. Sapan chewed hungrily on the scrap of bread, barely stopping to draw breath. Then he wiped his mouth, making sure he didn't miss any crumbs, and gazed out across the river as if he was about to go into a trance. He always found the sound of rushing water calmed him down after a busy night of stealing. Suddenly behind him there was a loud bang. He jumped off the ground. The old man hadn't even twitched. Sapan turned around and stared, wide-eyed, as the village suddenly burst into life. Diwali, the festival of lights. And there was light everywhere he looked. Crackling, fizzing fireworks exploded high above the village, bathing it in shifting colours and ghostly shadows. Sapan watched from a distance as the villagers celebrated. The infectious beat of Bhangra music filled the air, And Sapan looked on as the village children tried to copy Bollywood dancing routines they had seen in the films. High up in the clear night sky, the constellations shimmered brilliantly. They would dance too if they could. Sapan wished he could join in. A frenzy of fireworks exploded above the river, creating showers of sparkling white light that floated dreamily back down towards the earth. To Sapan it seemed as if the very stars themselves were settling onto the surface of the river. As he looked closer, he could see little lights bobbing up and down, and slowly, very slowly, moving down river. There were people kneeling at the riverside, and in the middle of the river, looking directly at him, the head and shoulders of an abandoned old statue. It looked like a god or a goddess, he thought. Sapan stepped out from his hiding place. There, spreading out in front of him like a carpet of light on the water's surface, were hundreds of tiny, flickering, floating oil lamps. Oh, it was a beautiful sight, he thought. If they cross to the other side, it means good luck, said a girl's voice behind him. Sapan turned around quickly and held on jealously to what was left of his bread. At first he could see nothing, but then, as his eyes got used to the gloom once more, Sapan spied a pair of beautiful brown eyes looking up at him. They were shaped like almonds. Then he noticed a multicolored jeweled necklace glowing in the night. And then a brightly colored sari that swayed slowly in the gentle night air, almost as if it was a liquid. I have an oil lamp here. I made it myself, said the girl. Shall we send it across the river and see what happens? She smiled a lovely smile at Sapan. And at that moment, he forgot that he had ever been hungry.